is doing her damn thing. I am telling you, she is definitely a woman who overcame and became. And I'm your biggest fan. I'm glad that you have me on your show.
Well,
I'm on Willpower
well,
Unsurfaced.
thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on because you have actually been such an inspiration to me. And it was a pleasure to be able to open up for my first time on your platform because it took me a long time to be able to open up and share my story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to be able to do that with someone that I didn't know, it was a
Hmm.
big thing for me because you know how we can be sometimes. We in our element, like you said,
Yeah.
we get stuck in our ways.
But
So
when we met each other, it was just like, we walk into the restaurant and we hugging each other and it's
yes,
just like we talking, right?
yes,
Like we just hanging
absolutely,
out because we done
absolutely.
spoke so many times and everything. And I just say like when you meet people and you vibe with people, you really know, you don't really know too much about them, but you know that you share something,
Right.
right? You know that you can be around someone and just be comfortable with them. And
Right.
that's immediately what I felt
Yes.
when we got together and we saw each other face to face. Because, looking on a computer is fine, but once we
Right.
got together face to face, we laughing, we waiting for the damn makeup artist to get
We got
there,
caught
we
in the
doing all
rain.
kind of
We were
right.
soaking wet.
I
We were soaking wet. It poured.
right. We doing so
That's
much
the kind of welcome
stuff.
Atlanta gave me some buckets, some
Come
buckets.
on.
I was glad
Come
I had my hair braided because it poured down raining. Right.
I know. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh man. And I'm just getting out the salon. You like, your hair look good. The next day it's like, woo.
Right. See. Listen. Listen. It was
Oh,
a pleasure to baby. It was a pleasure to finally meet you in person. You know, after we've
yeah.
been talking for what was it, like 2 years
two
now over the
years.
phone.
Yep.
So it was
Two
a pleasure
years.
to finally come to meet you. And then you like you said, you get to vibe with a person. Once you're in front of a person,
That's
you get to
right.
see how much you really have in common. You know what I mean? And how
Exactly.
well you really gel. So when we really had a good time, it was a great time. It was a great dinner. And it was a great honor to be able to come and speak on your platform that you
Oh my
invited me
God.
there.
You guys
It
got to
was
see
good.
this video. I told you I have the video.
Yes.
We are editing it right now, but just your whole aura and just to let your audience know, this was an idea for Khadijah when we spoke 2 years ago, and she said she wanted to start a podcast and she wanted, to get her voice out there to talk about the issues that she care about.
Right.
And we would speak on the phone and I would tell her, you can do it. You will see that once you take a step, God will take a step, right? Once you decide that this is what you want to do and you want to, really take it seriously, you can make it happen. And then now look at you now. I mean, you look like you belong on the radio. Like you look
Absolutely.
so pretty and you got everything around you. But that's how God worked. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And so now it's just onward and upward from here. And
Absolutely.
I'm just blessed to know you.
So
I'm
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 blessed to have
excited.
people around me. I'm blessed that Toucan has his studio, you know, to have people around me that even put me in this direction. Because like I
That's
told
right.
you, I wanted to do it, but I really didn't know how I was gonna get it done, where I was gonna get it done. I just put it out there, and once I put it out there, like you said, the creator, once you put something out there, the things just start coming your way, you know.
People come. The people
Absolutely.
come. Once you start to put it out there, the people come. And when the people come and they show up and they believe in your vision, it just all fall into place. It
Right.
doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean that you don't have to prepare and be consistent and do what you need to do
Right.
to get it off the ground and make it work. But you took that little step. And once you take that little step, somebody else is going to take a step.
Right.
And somebody else is going to take a
Right.
step. And then you're going to adjust, see how you can make it fit you, your personality, and then see how you can actually add your rhythm to it, your oomph, and all that stuff. And
Yes.
then it just takes off from
And
there.
then you go out there and then you just do it. Just do
That's
it.
right.
And
That's right.
because you have your own platform. So,
Oh, God,
you know,
yes.
I wanted to talk to you about your platform and how you got started, you know.
Oh man, the I'm Loving Me project is my platform where we inspire women to love themselves. We We help women transform. We help you understand your value and your worth. We let you know that there is a place, there is a sisterhood, a community where you could come and actually have that support that you need for your dreams and your goals and your visions, to work through your dramas, to work through all this stuff. And the reason why I created that is because someone was there for me. Someone was there for me. And you know my story. Mom died of AIDS when I was 7 years old. I've been through divorce. I've been through so many things in my life. But what I understood is that in order for me to live the highest and truest self for myself and love myself, I had to be able to make a decision to do that.
Right.
Right. Because you put everybody first. You tell yourself you're going to do this for yourself, you're going to do that, and then you don't. And then you turn around and you look and you say, well, what the hell is going on with my life? How come I can't do the stuff that I need to do? Those dreams and visions and everything you have become fantasies.
Right.
And then you start to tell yourself, you know what? When I was little, I really wanted to do XYZ, but then, girl, that all changed. And you know why it changed? I got married and I had kids. Like, those things are burdens.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, the
Right.
reason why you can't go ahead and live your dream is because you have all this burden on you.
Right.
No, we make choices based on how we grew up. We make choices based on the life that we lived, right?
Yes.
And so, even though we know we want more, we want to be more, we want to grow, it's hard when you're doing all the stuff that you just know. So when somebody comes in and tells you you can have a different life, you throw it off and you
Right.
say, yeah, okay, you don't live in this house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't live in this house with these kids and all this stuff. You don't see my paycheck that come in and out. You don't see none of that, right?
Right. Yeah.
How am I going to do this and I'm barely making it?
Right.
How
Right.
am I going to, achieve my dreams and all that? That's airy fairy. I'm 50
Absolutely.
years old. I'm 55 years old. That's for
Yes.
them young people.
Yes.
Where that's not the truth. That's not the truth. So this community is about not only uplifting you, but also helping you with your business and your goals, your professional goals. Um, we have goals to not only show you how to uh, live your dreams, but also really, really, really hone in and tap in into being involved, with every woman that we touch and meet.
Right. Right. It's a great platform. Um Her platform is the I'm Loving Me project on Facebook, and
Yeah.
Gloria always has women from all different fields of life come on her platform and share
Hmm.
their stories. It's a page of inspiration for so many people because you have people from so many different backgrounds coming on your platform and sharing their stories. Um, Sometimes people may think that it's not important to hear what someone else goes through, but that
Hmm.
may not be true for everyone. But
Right.
for somebody, you never know who you may touch by putting your story out there or by putting your opinion out there on something that happened to you, especially when it was something personal in your
Right.
life. Um, People are more apt to feel you when they know that you were there in the muck, and now
Hmm.
you're coming out with you're speaking about it and how you got through it. You never know, someone may be going through that same circumstance, and when you
Hmm.
share your story, it may give them an outlet and an opening. So you have this your program this week. You're going to be in Pittsburgh,
Oh
right?
man,
So tell us a little bit about what's going on in Pittsburgh this weekend.
man, we are so blessed. I'm I was just saying, to the team last week, because it has been so, Khadijah, it has been so busy. I'm tired.
Right.
I want to sleep. I want to, I'm nervous. I am, I don't know. I got all these feelings
All this.
going on. You know why? Because this is our first time that we're going to be in front of people. We want to be able to do a good job. And the biggest thing that I'm continuously shown is how much this is needed. So it gives me that boost,
Right.
right? So this week I'm flying up to Pittsburgh on Friday, and we're doing a whole weekend retreat with some women. We're going to do the spa thing. We're going to have DJs. We're going to have at least 6 speakers. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have all these women coming out. We're running ads on the radio up there. And because it is important for us to allow women to understand and know that they have a place where they can come and join a community of women where they can get to know their worth.
Right.
So we know that we have to get out in the community and do that.
Right.
We have to, go first,
Okay.
if you must say, because a lot of people come and they do events and all that stuff, and then you never hear from them again,
Right.
or the stuff that you hear, you take it home and you be like, okay, what she say, and how am I supposed to, what? Okay, what was
Right.
I supposed to do?
Right.
But no, the our whole purpose is to meet everybody that we actually been talking to.
Okay.
Spread the message of self-love. Get out there and show Khadijah got a story. I'm not going to sit up here and tell my story 10,000 times. Somebody needs to listen to her because she can go ahead and help somebody change their life. She also got a business. So support her because she's in our community,
Right.
right? She's also doing some other stuff. Figure out what that is. Figure out how you can get involved. So this whole weekend is about that. It's about that sisterhood. It's about, coming together, networking with each other, loving on each other, getting some good information, and really helping the women understand just how important they are.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Right. You also have your okay, let me get it right. Children without mothers,
Students
right?
without mothers.
So
Yeah,
students without mothers.
oh boy, that's the thing that's close to my heart
Right.
too. And you see me doing a lot of stuff,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Students without mothers is close to my heart because that was me,
Right.
right? I was a student without a mother. Like I said, my mom died of AIDS when I was 7 years old, and I grew up with my grandmother, right? All you
Right.
grandmothers out there, I know you one, Khadijah.
Yes.
The kids act like they don't appreciate it, but they
Mm.
do. I promise you, I promise you they do. Because I did. I heard so many times, I should put your asses in a home. I'm doing you a favor, all this stuff. But,
Yes.
my grandmother saved me,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because we could have been in a home. She took
Right.
on 6 kids when my mother died.
And that's a lot.
6 kids. Come on, girl.
Listen, from me, just being a grandmother who personally went through that whole thing, it's like when you have your life and then all of a sudden your life stops because now you have to
Yeah.
take care of children and your children
Hmm.
are grown and now you got to start from possibly a baby, you know what I mean? Because I started when my grandson was 3 months old. So now
See,
my whole life was like it just stopped and everything was just like crazy. Like what? I got this baby and I got a 3 month old over here. I got a 3 year old right here. And
hmm
my life, everything that was going on in my life before they came didn't stop.
that's right.
So now you got to figure out how you gonna combine raising these grandchildren as well as you still got to go to work. Nobody don't want to hear nothing about no baby that you couldn't come to work.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? None of that stuff changed. So now you still have to put, you still have to do everything. You know what I
Ooh,
mean? It's like you really got to do everything, and the
look.
amount of patience that you have to have. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? When you get older, like you sit back and be like, wow, I had a lot of patience to deal with a bunch of noise because when you get
Yeah.
older, you don't want to hear no damn noise, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You come home
Yep.
from work, you ain't trying to hear nothing about grandma, my homework ain't done. Homework, you
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? And these is all the things that you thought you were done with.
Yeah, and that's what
Y-
my grandmother used to say. Like, the twin boys was two. My sister was 4. I was 7, or she was 5. I was 7, and my brother was like 12 or 13, and my sister was like 15 or 16,
Right.
right? So you got all these kids, mom passes, right? So it's like, now what I'm gonna do with all these kids? My
Yes.
grandmother, she done raised her kids. She had 11. They were
Wow.
still coming in and out of
Wow.
her life, right? Like
Yes.
asking for stuff.
Right.
She was with my grandfather down the street from where my mother was, living her best life. She was a home attendant, work when she wanted, go home to the boo. He make a cake, slice it up. They listen to music. They got their feet up.
Right.
Now you gotta tell, grandpa, oh, well, I gotta go raise these 6 kids. He like, you ain't bringing them in here. You go up there, and whenever you want to come home, you come back.
Wow. Look at that, right?
Look,
And
he
they had
ain't
to
move out. Look, he
listen.
ain't move out. He stayed in his house there, their apartment. He let her go, and she moved in with us. And she would go see him when she could, or on the weekend, because he wasn't dealing with it. He said no. you know.
And that's the thing with being a grandmother, right? Because it's so easy for someone else to say no. But when you
Yeah,
looking at your daughter or your son's
that's
children and you
right.
know that they need a place and it's not their fault. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
What am I going to do? What am I going to say no to my grandchildren? I'm like, I'm not going to take care of them. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And I mean, there are some people who opted not to, but me personally, I couldn't see my grandchildren in foster
That's
care
right.
because
That's
then I
right.
wouldn't be able to sleep wondering if a stranger is doing something to my grandkids or if somebody
That's
call me and
right.
say something happened or you know what I'm saying? And so,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I won't call it a curse. I won't say that. But what I'll
Yeah.
say is it might set you back for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But then you have the pleasure of looking at what you helped create.
Oh man, and
You
that's what
know
I
what
was
I
about to
mean?
say. Big up to all your grandmothers, aunties, everybody who step in, because we do appreciate it. Like, we weren't sent to a home. We all was able to grow up and become adults.
Right.
We were all able to go ahead and do our thing. And of course, she had to go through, the teenage years and all of the stuff that we wanted to do. And we felt like, we had our own opinions, and we all would fight each other and do all kind of stuff. But she hung in there. And that was the power of it, where she basically gave up her life,
Right.
where she thought she was done,
Right.
like you said, and then she had to go ahead and do it all over again, and sacrifice her relationship, sacrifice, her job and everything, to make sure that we were okay.
Right.
And with Students Without Mothers, some of these kids, their mom died, or are incarcerated, and they go to college. Well, the whole thing is they do good in school. We give them a scholarship to go to college. But Khadijah, this is it. Once auntie is done, sometimes she's done.
Right.
Once grandma is done, grandma is done. But the kids got to come back home for spring break and all that stuff.
Right.
Some of them who are in group homes, they have nowhere to go.
Right.
So what we do is we help them with housing while they're here, because they got to get off campus, but they don't have no home to go to,
Okay.
because grandma was doing the best that she could, or auntie was doing the best that she could. But at the same time, auntie and grandma can't do it no more.
Right.
They was able to get you to that point. I got you in school, that's all I could do for you. So a lot of these kids got jobs. Like me, I worked 3 jobs and all that stuff, trying to
Right.
stay in school and really toughen it out. But their mind is not right.
Right.
They lost their mom. They weren't able to grieve. You got people telling them that, I'm not your mother. I'm this person,
Right.
and I'm just trying to help you out,
Right.
right? And then you also got the whole trauma of looking at other people with
Right.
their mother.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like, that's
Yes.
hard. That's
Yes.
hard, and that never leaves you.
Right.
And so we try to do what we say is we try to do everything that your mother would do. Like we try to get you the little dorm stuff you need, the little
Right.
slippers, the little comforter, right?
Right.
Surprise you with little snacks
Yes.
because that's
Yes.
what mom would do, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
that's what we committed to. And so, we try to do the best we can and try to give out at least 10 scholarship a year for kids.
And that is great. I mean, that is awesome. That is definitely needed. Like that's just an honor that you do that because
Mm.
you just imagine like you're just doing your small part, but there's so many other young ladies out here that are going through the same thing, with so many other children out here who are without mothers, who don't
Mhm.
have, And when we talk about our children are our future, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
sometimes when life gets in our way, we forget about everything else outside of what's in our life,
Right.
and we don't think about starting programs like what you started. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? To do something to help some children that are in need, because there are so many children that are in need. And I was even surprised that my daughter was, she was incarcerated, and I
Mhm.
took care of my grandchildren. And she said, "You know what, Ma? I was so surprised when I went to jail, and so many people was like, 'Your mom kept your kids. Like, you should be so happy because my mom didn't keep my kids. My mom sent my kids, my children are in foster care.'" And I
Wow.
was like, taking that took me back a little bit, because I just, like I said, I just couldn't imagine my grandchildren being
No.
in foster care. And
Mm-mm.
so, just to know that we have people like yourself that
Mhm.
take that extra step to do something for a child that's not their
Man,
own.
and we have people like you. You doing the work. I'm just trying to raise the money to help. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just trying to raise the money to help. So when the kids go to college, your work is not in vain. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like they want to show you that they do appreciate it,
Right.
right? But it is you guys that are doing the hard work, the grandmothers and the aunties and all that, where you are there day to day. You dealing with their traumas. You dealing with the fact that they miss their mom.
Right.
You dealing with the fact that they have these feelings, and like they say, when they get a certain age, they start smelling themselves, and they
Yes.
got to go through that. They got to
Yes.
go through that. And
Yes.
you done went through that so many times. You like, look, I ain't
Listen.
got no time. So we just do what we can, but really that's why it's so important, like I said, like with the I'm Loving Me project, to take care of you. That's why we
Right.
have that sisterhood, because when you want to get away, you need somebody to talk to, you want to just have some fun, you want to be able to get your stuff right, you you have that outlet too, because we know this
Yes.
shit is hard.
It's very hard, and what I love to see is, though, is the camaraderie of women.
Hmm.
Because we have that stigma as black women that we don't all get along. But I
That's
really
right.
believe it's all in the mindset of the women. You know
It
what I mean?
is.
Because we all can get together. We've always done it. It's
Mm-hmm,
always been
hmm.
us. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's always we are the ones that keep everything together when it comes to the families and things like that. Because look at Grandpa. Grandpa
Hmm.
said, "I'm staying home. You can go down
Right.
there with
Right.
the
Right.
kids, but I'm gonna stay down here where it's quiet at."
Right.
Right?
I ain't going up there with them damn kids. You go up
Exactly.
there. He like, Edo, you go up there. I'm staying.
Right. And so to think that, she stepped away from all of that, you know what I'm saying? But then look at the products that she helped to raise. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that if she was still here, she would be so proud of where you are now, you
Oh
know?
man, that's my only feeling, just to make sure, that she's proud of me, and that I saw the depression, the trauma,
Yes.
just the frustration of it all, because you don't mean to.
Right.
But like I would tell y'all in Inspiration in 30, kids see and feel and they know.
Right.
And you think you're hiding your feelings, but you're not,
Yes.
right? You see how you feel frustrated because you want to do your own thing, but you here.
Right.
And you want to be able to have love, but you gotta have a responsibility.
Right.
You feel lonely and you're trying to make it work, and then all of a sudden you try it, and we got all these uncles coming by. right? And then
Right.
you just like, oh, this is Uncle
That's a,
such and such.
right.
Like, well, where's Uncle such? Get your ass in the room. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You got all this
Right.
kind of
All this
stuff
other stuff.
because you tried,
Right.
right? But then you realize, man, if I gotta give up my life
Yes.
to do this stuff.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that we understand that you are doing what you're doing right now, but there's always an outlet. You might not can get out, but you can take that 10-15 minutes.
Right.
You can go figure out what you like to do and go do that, right? You can listen to music and just be in your zone.
Mm-hmm.
Send the kids outside. Don't let them play video games all the time.
Right.
Get your me time. Light a candle, like what you're doing right now. Get in your zen.
Right.
Just, whatever it is that you want to do, there's always that possibility of doing something.
Right.
My grandmother, she found her peace when we went to school. That was her time. She would watch her little judge shows. She laughed. She'd be on the phone with my grandfather for a little bit, right?
Right.
Laughing and doing all kind of stuff. And then by 3 o'clock when we came home, she had to get back in her mode.
Right. Right.
Right? She
Yeah.
had to get back in her mode. But yeah, it is kudos to you guys. And so, you know, I'm very happy. I'm hoping and praying she's proud. But what we are accomplishing and will accomplish is helping women like you understand that self-love is so important
Yes.
and that you can get along with other women and other black women. But what's so funny, Khadijah, is that what we don't realize, and now I'm going to get on my empowerment thing.
That's absolutely.
We don't realize that we had 30 years of trauma as black women.
If not more than that.
During slavery, it was okay to rape you, to beat you, to do all these things. And guess what you had to do?
Yeah.
Stay quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why we stay quiet now.
Yeah.
It was okay to mess up your insides because they didn't want you to have no more kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay to go ahead and pin you against the light skin and dark skin because that's how they tamed you.
Right.
But you kept that with you. We got so much generational stuff in us that we don't even know about. And we sit up here and we say we can't get along. Yes, we can, but the traditions and the DNA and what comes with us is the thing that we're fighting against.
Right.
It was okay for you to get beat by a master and all that stuff, and your husband watch you, and then he turn around and beat you because he mad he couldn't help
Yes. Yes.
you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you have this whole thing of women coming together, we come together when it's something tragic and we bond because that's how we were trained.
Yes.
When it comes to something else, when you are giving and you happy and you excited and all that,
Mm-hmm.
we feel a little bit uncomfortable
Right.
because we feel like we're going to get hurt.
Yes.
You going to do something. You going to tell on me. You going to know my darkest secret. But it's like, no, sis, those days are over.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And we still and like you said, we unconsciously the trauma of so much happening to our people, and that's that's a big thing for me is the history of my people has always been a big thing for me.
Yeah.
just trying to go back to where I came from,
Yeah.
where my people came from, because it's so important to know where you came from, who your people was, besides the fact that possibly your people were slaves. We
Yeah.
was more than that. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? We was more than
Absolutely.
that. So when we get stuck in when we get stuck in those mindsets, those really lynch mindsets that it's hard for us to get out of. You know what I mean? We accept everything
Right.
because of those mindsets, and that has been a generational curse for us as a people. It's like I just was speaking about last week when I had the show and I was talking about real estate in our communities and what we were going to do, what are the people going to do in effect when everybody starts moving into your area and you
Uh-huh.
can't afford it?
That's right.
You know, we have other races that come in and they just get together and start building something real quick.
Very quickly.
You know what I mean? You have Asians got a bunch of real estate, you got Mexican, and no hate against them, but it
Hmm.
just shows me how, because of our mindsets from generation to generation, we still can't get it together. And these are
Well,
our neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
I could tell you, I could tell you this, and think about it, because you you were trained to fight against each other. You were trained that way.
Right.
Your grandmother, my grandmother, her grandmother, and on and on. It was told to you that, you know, you got to be able to write your own ticket, get out there, do what it is that you need to do. Don't follow this, don't do that, right?
Right.
Like, you keep your head focused, you keep your head straight, you do what you need to do for you and yours. Don't go tell my business, don't go do
Right.
this. Like, there's so much
Right.
stuff where you're like, how am I, you training me to be this closed person that just goes ahead and run until I run
Yes.
out of gas.
Yes.
And then if I turn to another sister, she's doing the same thing.
Right.
And then when I say, well, how can we work together? And it's like, nah, I was trained not to trust nobody, because see, you gonna hurt me.
Right.
And that's what it is. I don't want to be hurt by you because I already been hurt already. I don't want to be able to take that chance with you, because if I give you my everything, I don't know how to take that,
Right.
right? So it's hard to open up because you are the mindset, like you said, is to do it by yourself on your own, leave people out your business. This is the best way to get it done. And then it's like, nah. What the other communities do, they say, man, there's power in numbers.
Right.
In order for us to make this work, we all got to get together. Yeah, they fight. They punch each other in the face. They do all that. But at the end of the day, we sitting at the table trying to figure out how we gonna make it work, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
We gonna support each other, right? I tell the story. We only support each other when it gets to a point where, we feel we in danger, because that's how we were trained.
Train. Exactly.
When we in danger, when my brother was little, uh, my brother's half Spanish, so he looked Puerto Rican. But a Puerto Rican man came into the store and was like, "Oh, that's my son," and tried to kidnap my brother. So he
Wow.
was yelling. He was yelling. You know, uh, in New York, we stayed in a tenement building at the time, and he was like, "Mom, Mom." My mother knew his voice, so she looked out the window and she see this man pulling him and everything. So the people in the neighborhood, Liz, somebody trying to take your son, please. You see all the doors open on the fifth floor, right? People
Right.
got meat cleavers, knives, guns, this, that, everybody running
Right.
down the steps, right? Trying to figure out
Who
who
is this?
is about that. That's right. When it's time for war, we ready,
Right.
right? So everybody ran downstairs. My mom came down with a meat cleaver, not sure what she was going to do with that.
She gonna chop somebody's
And
hand
she
off
got
with
my,
that.
that's right. She got my brother. She got him,
Wow.
and we brought him upstairs. But the whole community, everybody was rallying, because that was something that was dangerous.
Right.
But if it's the opposite, where something positive, you don't trust it because you don't want to be hurt.
Right.
And
Right.
that's why you have to teach, and you have to feel safe where you are, because for so long we never felt safe.
Right.
That's hard to change, where you got other communities who never felt that.
Right.
Khadijah. You never
Yes.
felt where you got to be on your toes almost
24
24/7.
7.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the battle that you battling with. I don't trust you because I don't feel safe with you.
Right.
I'm in my mind, I'm thinking you gonna hurt me. down the line, some way, somehow, because that's how it always works out,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So
Absolutely.
that's what we battling against as far as us black women really getting together. We are so afraid of allowing ourselves to open up because of the pain,
Right.
you know?
Pain and issues that, unfortunately, issues that are not our own. You know
Oh
what I'm
man.
saying? Issues that are not our own keep us from unifying.
Come on,
You
girl.
know, oh, I can't trust women. Well, you don't know all women.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? So
right.
when you say I can't trust women, you automatically putting it out there that you're not going to trust anyone. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? You're not going to try to trust anyone, or you're not going to try to. It's like they say when you're trying to do something, they say, well, you got to keep it to yourself. Well, if you keep
Yep.
it to yourself, how you gonna get some
How
damn
can you
help?
grow? That's
You
right.
understand
How
what I'm
you
saying?
gonna
Like,
grow?
how you gonna
How is
keep
somebody gonna help you?
exactly? You know, if you want to do something and you know you need help, you need a team, you need someone to be there to help you
That's
through
right.
this you know thing you trying to
Yeah.
do. But then
What would
you
happen
say,
if Jeff Bezos kept Amazon to himself?
listen, it took him 30 years, but look,
Come on. You
we
know
were
what I'm
talking
saying?
about that last weekend when my family, because I've told you before, my family has an investment company and we buy stock, and we
Mm-hmm.
do it every month.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about like how sometimes it just takes a long time for your stock to for it to pop. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like it might take 10, 15 years. And we were talking about
Right.
Amazon. It took him 30 years. He started in a little office with one little piece of paper in front of him that said Amazon.
Yeah.
And I was talking about his stock, and I was like, well, I wonder how much his stock is. His stock is $1,100 a
Yep.
share. His stock costs more than Disney,
That's right.
more than Walmart. Okay, because we got
Mhm.
Walmart stock. We ain't got no Amazon stock yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
Yeah.
we stop ourselves from doing something great before we get to do it because we don't trust each other.
Absolutely.
And us together, we will be a unified. I mean, we was if we was to get together, look at the Black Wall Street. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
it's gonna happen though. You know
Look,
why? Because it's the times are changing. You know, the younger generation, the older generation is learning from the younger generation.
yes,
Your generation and my generation, we are the last generation who had analog phones, who knew what an answer machine was, a
yeah,
VCR, all of
yes,
that. But what we have decided to do, and that's why we're doing so well, is to choose ourselves. Because we saw what we went through with mommy and grandma and all of them,
right,
and we saying to ourselves, I don't want to live like that.
yes,
I don't. I want more,
yes.
right? And then we look at the kids today and grandkids, and you see how depressed they are. They're worrying about likes and
Oh
hearts
my
and all this stuff.
goodness.
And you saying to yourself, no, baby girl, that ain't life,
Absolutely.
right? You can't hear me now, but I promise you, you will see that this is not life. So we need us to get it together so that we can show them.
Right.
And that's why you're such an integral part in your grandkids' life, because they are watching you.
Yes.
They see grandma on Glockaware Radio doing the Willpower UnSurfaced every Monday. She got her podcast. Hey, do you know how that is going to school?
Mm-hmm.
Be like, now my grandma got her podcast. They like, no, she don't. Yes, she do. Go on YouTube and look at it. Go on Facebook and
My
look at
grandson be
it.
like, Grandma, you a YouTuber.
That's right. You see what I'm saying?
Ah,
That's
absolutely.
that's how you feel. You feel
Right.
proud, and
Right.
they're watching and they seeing that.
Yes.
And even though they can't communicate how they feel, they see with their eyes,
Right.
and it's that real time. And that's why I say it's important to get from behind the computer. That's why we made it a point that we going to do all events next year, because we are social beings.
Yes.
Our history, the way we were made, and everything was learning from other people. The way you learn is by seeing. The
Yes.
way you learn is by being an apprentice, working with someone. You work when you want to be a good carpenter, when you want to be a good whatever, and they take you under their wing, you got to commit to 7 years of working with them until you get good at it,
Right.
right? You can't do that over Zoom. You can't
Absolutely.
do that because your attention span is too short. But if your grandson come and he watches you, how you set up the show, how you prep for the show,
Right.
how you put your headphones on, give him 2 3 weeks, he'll be able to be your co-host.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's watching and
Yes.
he's seeing and he's understanding. And that's another thing that we don't do. We don't get our kids involved early,
Right. Right.
where we figure out what their gifts and talents are and try to nurture that. And it's really not our fault because
Right.
we too busy trying to keep food on the table.
Exactly. Is it,
you know?
we get to we get so caught up in life.
That's right.
So I know sometimes when I have my grandkids in the car, this weekend I had them in the car, and I was
Hmm.
talking to them about buying real estate and
Yeah.
what me and my sister was doing. And I was telling them, that if you buy a house for this amount and that amount, and I was making them do the math. So my
Hmm.
granddaughter, I had her do the math, and she was like, "Wow, you can make that much off of selling one house." I said, "Yeah." She was like, "Duh, that's a lot of money." I said, "Yes." I
That's
said, "You
right.
ain't have to do that much either to get it."
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I always
Hmm.
try to share, like you said, share what I'm
Yeah.
doing with them. I mean,
And open up
literally.
their minds.
Exactly.
Open up their minds to different things. That's the one thing I loved about my grandmother. She never stopped us from doing like activities. We in Glee Club,
Yes.
she let me go to Israel. She let me go to Africa. She let me, go try to be a singer, like
Right.
really go out there and explore what it is that you want to do,
Right.
right? She
Right.
wasn't always supportive with it because
Hmm.
she needed help,
Right.
but she never stopped me. As much as I love school and I'm staying till like 6 o'clock, she like no kid stays in high school to 6 or 7 o'clock. You got a boyfriend. You doing something. You
Right.
out there. And the teacher had to call and say, Gloria's in the class right here. We getting ready for a test.
Right.
And I would get home and be like, all my homework is done. Go take a shower, go to bed, because I got a test in the morning.
Right.
And the reason why I was able to do that, because of what I heard her say, right? You telling your kids about real estate, she's telling me you got to be able to write your own ticket.
Right.
You're going to need an education, honey, because I'm not going to be here forever.
Right.
You're going to have to learn how to take care of yourself. Go in there and cut that chicken up. I got a whole chicken, cut it up into pieces and go ahead and fry it up. You need to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to pay bills.
Yes.
So she taught me how to survive.
That's what. Even though I had my mother, my mom was a teenager when she had me, so my
Hmm.
grandmother basically raised me.
Hmm.
And so all the things that you're saying, like she made me cook. My grandmother
Yep.
made me cook. They made me pop string beans. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like my father's mother had a garden in her yard. She made me go out there and pick this stuff off the vine, and come
Yep.
and bring them in. And so many things like how to hem my pants, and certain stuff that I noticed even as myself as a grandmother. I'm gonna
Right.
take my pants to the cleaners and get him. So you
Right.
know what I'm saying. So I noticed like the difference between the way my grandmother did things and the way I did things. Even though I do help let them cook with me. You know what I'm saying, and show
Hmm.
them how to cook
Hmm.
and stuff like that. But our grandmothers always, even when mom's around, been the foundations.
Yeah.
Because
And
most of
you
the
know
time
what's
mom is working and grandmom got the kids anyway.
and you know what's so bomb about that though? Because when I got to college, I was like the only kid on the floor who really knew how to take care of themselves. Like
Right.
I knew how to cook. We
Right.
couldn't cook my freshman year, but I couldn't stay on campus. I couldn't afford to stay. So I had to live in a boarding house with two of my friends. But check this out. I knew how to budget money.
Right.
I was the only one that had cable because I knew how to do that because I worked two
Right.
jobs. I knew how to go and get a Sam's card, buy a whole bunch of food, put it
Right.
in the refrigerator, and a whole bunch of food back then was like $100 for
Right.
me, right? I knew how to go ahead and buy big packs of meat take it out of the package, put it in the damn Ziploc bags, right?
Right.
Put two in the pack, put them in the freezer, and go ahead and make it last and make it work.
Right.
Yeah, other kids couldn't even wash their hair, child. They didn't know how to wash their hair. They
Wow.
didn't know. They didn't know. They had poor diets, everything. Girl, I'm in there cooking. I used to cook for the neighborhood. Cook, have fried chicken, make Thanksgiving dinner, make cakes, do all that stuff because that's what I learned.
Right.
You
And I
know,
know they was glad to have you.
girl, let me tell you, I had put that post up on my Instagram. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I
I
was so
seen that. You was in
tired.
school
Yeah, I was so
cooking.
tired because I had that cake that I made, and
Yeah.
I made a whole Thanksgiving meal, and they was like, glow many a days. Because,
Yes.
I knew what to do. I was trained to do stuff like
Right.
that,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it works, but we as women, we have to understand that even though we take care of everybody else, we have to be able to take care of
Yes.
ourselves.
It is
We
so
are
important.
important.
I mean, like it is so important that we focus on self love because
Hmm.
that is such a big thing that we don't focus on. And then we wonder why we have heart attacks and we
Come
having a
on.
stroke and we getting sick because everybody comes first.
That's
And
right.
I remember when I had took some college courses at Lincoln, right? And I had a
Mhm.
professor and she asked us, she asked all of it was a class for women who had children, right?
Mhm.
And she asked us, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, who are you? So of course, most of us, oh, I'm a mother, I'm this, and then she's like, no, who are you? And we didn't even know how to answer. And it just took me back because I'm looking around. It's like about 25 of us in the classroom. Nobody know who the hell they is. We don't
Mm-mm.
know who the hell we is because we so busy taking care of everybody else all the time. We never even thought about who it is that we are.
No.
And she said, you have to take time for yourself. She's like, you got to put you first. So you
Mhm.
know how black mothers is. No, no, my kids come first. She said you can't put your kids first because if you're not here to take care of them, who going to take care of the kids?
Hey,
She said you
that's
got to put yourself first. Don't feel bad if you put yourself first.
that's
You
right.
going to take care of your family. That's what we do as women. But you need
Uh-huh.
to take care of you first so that you can take care of everybody else. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, then you can't take care of nobody. Now you running around here like a chicken with your head chopped off. And
And
she
the
was
kids
so
are
right.
all upset, kind of,
Yes.
because you come to school looking a mess, and you trying to figure out, like, Ma, can you stay home?
Yes.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Listen.
Because you trying to do it
Because
all,
you're
and you
trying to
running
do it
out of
all. And you don't
gas.
even
No.
realize when you're in the moment, when you're just doing so much. Because I can recall my children saying to me, like, you wasn't never home. And I'm thinking to myself, you little spoiled
Mm.
ass shits. Like, I'm out working, busting my ass to take care of y'all.
Mhm.
But to them, you wasn't home. You
That's
could have
right.
been at work, running the street, whatever the case, you wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I try to focus so much on getting myself in a better position for my children and for my grandchildren because I want them to be able to enjoy life. And because we
Mhm.
do so much taking care of everybody else, not focusing on what it is we want in life, we get caught in the trap
Yeah,
that we all get caught in. Live, work, 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 die.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I wanted something different.
When
Because,
you look at other communities, they're not doing anything different than what you're doing. They're
right.
making time.
Yes.
They're just making time.
Yes.
They are working hard too.
Yes.
Most of them live paycheck to paycheck too.
Yes.
Most of them are trying to figure out how they're going to be able to do it all with one kid. And you got six, you got four. But what they do is they make time.
Yes.
And it's just as easy as this. You know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take a personal day because I need to spend time with my kids.
Yes.
I need to go ahead and figure this out. We take a personal day because we tired and we want to go to sleep because we doing so much,
Right.
right? We trying to be everything to everybody. They take a personal day and go ahead and actually go to the salon, go do something for themselves. They know at 3, 4 o'clock they're gonna have to be a mother and all that stuff again, but they take that time.
Yes.
Vacations. They do it. They make it a point. Why? Because they know how important family time is.
Yes.
Kids get out of school over here, you like, go put your book bags down. We're going to send you down south to your grandmother because I can't. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
need a break, right?
Absolutely.
But it's like, there is no difference. It's just, are you going to be able to put that time in and take that time for yourself? Because what you're saying is, you don't have the energy.
Right.
I don't
Right.
have the energy.
Right.
Well, the way you get the energy is when you take time for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always preach, figure out what it is that you want to do.
Mm,
Because we just go to work, go to work, go to work. But if you got a dream, accomplish it. And maybe
mm,
you won't have to have so much of your time spent on what somebody else wants you to do for 8 hours. You know what I
mm.
mean? Because I know that always was the goal for me. And I always be like, by the time I turn 50, I do not want to be working for nobody. I want to, when I'm ready to get up and leave and go do something, I don't want to hear you ain't got enough time off. None of that. Because I already done play by your rules for so long.
Right.
You know what
I,
I'm saying?
I tell people, when you go and you want to live your dreams, you actually work harder. But what you do know is that you are doing it for
So,
yourself. You are
yes.
doing it because you love it.
Yes.
So you don't matter. You don't mind getting up doing
Yeah.
it. Like I told you, you tired. You work overtime. You do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's something you built. It's
Yeah.
yours,
When
and
you,
you sharing it with the world. You creating your legacy.
yes.
And I tell the team this all the time. I don't have any kids, so I don't have a legacy I can look at.
Right.
But I got y'all.
I'm about to say you got your platform. You
That's
got that.
right.
That's your
I got
legacy.
y'all. Like,
Yes.
y'all will live out my legacy when you live your dream, when you know how to empower another woman and let her know her value and her worth.
Right.
When you decide that it's important for you to love yourself first,
Yes.
right? Then
Yes.
I can go ahead and be like, yo, peace out. I'm out.
Yes.
I'm going to chill with God right quick. Y'all got this. You good?
Yes.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what the Love of Me project is all about.
It
Getting
is.
women to focus on themselves, what
That's
they
right.
love about themselves,
That's
and
right.
what it is that they want to accomplish in
Yeah,
their
allowing you
lives.
to live the highest and truest version of yourself,
Yes.
point blank,
Yes.
and understanding that you're not going to get it all right, but however you decide to live, that's all we just asking you to do is do that.
Yes.
Live,
Live.
just live. As
Yes.
long as you don't hurt nobody else.
Yes. Yes. It's all about just living. It's nothing like being able to go
That's right.
when you want to go. I mean,
That's
I know for a lot of people in our community, sometimes we don't get to go out the country. But
mm-mm.
when you get your first chance to go out the country, you'll be hooked.
Boom.
You'll be so hooked. The first time I went out the country, I went to Mexico. And let
Mm.
me tell you something. I did not want to come back home
I know that's right.
because the water was so blue and it was so peaceful and I didn't
Oh,
have to do nothing. See, you know what I'm saying? I was just chilling on the beach, relaxing, and in my mind I'm saying I got to do something better so that when I'm ready to bust moves like this all the time, I can just get
mm.
up and go.
Yeah, that's my goal for next year. I got it to travel more because I've been working so hard over the last couple of
Yes.
years where, I ain't going nowhere to do anything because I've been, putting all my focus here. But I'm like, man, I want to be able to travel. And I want to you guys to share the experience with me. I'm like, they say Dubai is dope. They say, Egypt is dope. Like
Yes.
like those things are possible,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Those are possible. It's not far fetched the way
Yes.
that we think,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
they like, well, Gloria, we gotta make time. We gotta have payment plans. We gotta do that. We're gonna do all that. But the thing is, when you there, like you said, I want to eat real spaghetti in Italy.
Right.
I want to make my own ravioli.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I want to
Yes.
be able to ride a camel in Egypt and see the pyramids and
Pyramids.
everything.
Yes.
I don't want to see it on TV. I want to actually touch it with my hand. I'll probably pass out there.
That's on my bucket list for sure. Going to Egypt for
I'm
sure.
trying to tell you.
Yes, that is something that I always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we are coming to the end of our show, and I just wanted to
All
thank you
right.
so much, Gloria, for coming
Yeah.
in, for tuning into the show, for sharing your dreams and sharing what you're doing with the I'm Loving Me project. And for everybody that's on Facebook and Instagram, it's the I'm Loving Me project. Check in. Gloria also does inspiration at 30 in the morning.
I sure
She
do.
comes on every morning and she talks to you about what's going on with her and what you're going to do with your day.
Yeah, just start your day with some inspiration before you go ahead and start your day, your job or whatever it is. And I just want to say thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so happy that I'm here and on your show. You just
Yes.
don't know. Like
I'm so
I'm,
happy that you
I'm
came
very,
on.
very proud of you. I love you. I already know just based on what I saw in your video and everything, Khadijah, you have everything you need
Yes.
to live your dream. I promise you. I promise you, you do.
Thank you
I
so much. And
mean,
I can't
it's
wait to
like
see that.
right,
I can't wait to see that tape.
man, it's being edited right now.
I
It's
can't
being
wait to see
edited
that
right
tape.
now, and I just see your face and how you just talking and telling your story.
Yes.
I like this is it. This is what you're supposed to do. This right here.
Well,
So,
I got that call in and God said I supposed to share.
oh
So I
man,
felt like that's exactly what I needed to do because you ain't going to
it's
go against that voice that's in your head that's telling you to go do something.
it's your
You know?
calling. When you
It's,
when you see yourself, you're not gonna look back.
yes. Well, thank you so much, Gloria, for coming on. I want to thank all of my listeners for listening in, for all the people that tuned in. Thank you so much for watching Willpower Unsurfaced, and we will see you next week.
Yay.
Talk to you soon, Glow.
Let's get
All
it.
right.
Let's
See
get
ya.
it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Don't let me go, baby. I mean this shit for real. I'ma give you all of me. This